This isn't really a billionaire story. It's a survival story. And it starts with a barrier. A barrier that, for most people, would have been the end right there.
And then there's the reality check that grounds pretty much every big dream out there. His pockets were empty, but his mind, that was full. And it all leads to this, an achievement that seems almost impossible when you think about where he began. See, this is the story of a boy from a small town who completely changed the way India pays. So, the real question is, how does a kid with no English and no money go on to build the biggest fintech company in India? Let's really dive into the incredible journey of Vijay Shekhar Sharma, because this isn't just about business, it's about staring down impossible odds and winning.
All right, so our story doesn't start in some big, glittering city. No, it begins in a small, humble town in Uttar Pradesh. Vijay Shekhar Sharma was born back in 1978 in a town called Aligarh. His dad was a school teacher, which meant, money was always tight. But here's the thing, while the money was limited, his dreams definitely weren't. It's kind of the perfect setup for an amazing story, right? Now, you'd probably think that money was his biggest hurdle, but actually, it was something way more fundamental that stood in his way, especially once he decided to go for higher education. See, he was a brilliant student, a total natural when it came to math. But when he got into the prestigious Delhi College of Engineering, he just hit a wall. Everything was in English. He couldn't understand a single lecture. Can you just imagine that? The feeling of being completely isolated, like an outsider. So what do you think he did? He basically lived in the library, translating textbooks from English to Hindi, line by line, word by painful word, just to keep his dream from dying. And that right there is the key takeaway from that whole experience. That struggle didn't break him. It made him stronger. It forged him. He ended up teaching himself not just engineering, but the language he needed for the future.
Okay, so let's move on to the next chapter, because this is where things really start to build. After college, you think the struggle was over, right? Nope. In fact, it was really just getting started.
I mean, the safe play would have been to get a stable job, a good salary. But that just wasn't his path. He was driven by this need to build something, to create, to be his own boss. He chose the tough road, the road of an entrepreneur. And let me tell you, that road led straight to failure. Not once, but multiple times. His first few companies just didn't work out, and he absolutely hit rock bottom. At his lowest point, he had just 10,000 rupees left in the bank. That was it. Just try to imagine the weight of that.
But his mindset during all of this is just so powerful. He got that setbacks are just part of the game. The real choice, the only one that actually matters, is simple. Do you get back up or do you stay down?
So after all that failure and all that learning, he spotted a new problem. But this time around, getting anyone else to believe he had the solution, well, that was going to be his biggest challenge yet.
This really lays out the whole opportunity perfectly. I mean, think back to what it was like. If you wanted to recharge your phone, you had to physically walk to a shop. And dealing with banks, so slow, so complicated. Vijay saw a totally different future. A future where your phone could do all of that, instantly. And in 2010, that vision became Paytm.
But you know what? People just laughed at the idea. The conventional wisdom was pretty clear. India runs on cash. Investors, coworkers, even friends, they were all saying the same thing. This will never work. And that almost became his mantra. He truly believed that the fact that nobody else got it, well, that meant the opportunity was massive. He was making a bet on a digital revolution that pretty much everyone else was blind to. And then it happened. In one single moment, the entire country was basically forced to see the future he had been looking at all along. So for 6 years, Paytm was just quietly building, growing little by little. Then, boom, November 2016. Demonetization is announced. All of a sudden, cash is hard to find, and a whole nation is scrambling for a new way to pay. And who was ready? Paytm. They scaled up almost overnight. That QR code became the symbol of a new digital India. Now, to an outsider, it might have looked like pure luck, but it was anything but. This was years of non-stop preparation crashing right into a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He'd already built the ship long before the storm hit. From that moment on, Paytm wasn't just another startup, it was a full-blown phenomenon. And Vijay Shekhar Sharma, he was now leading India's entire FinTech revolution. But, is getting to the top the end of the story?
Do the challenges just stop? Not even close. Because success brought a completely new set of problems. Paytm's huge IPO really struggled on the stock market. And those same critical voices he'd heard years ago, they came back, and this time they were even louder. It just goes to show you, the journey of a leader is never just a straight line up.
And all of this really brings us to his core philosophy. Through all of the ups and downs, he's always believed in the long game. He sees technology as just a tool. The real power, that comes from the human element, the courage to keep going, to keep building, and to lead, especially when things get rough.
And so we end up here. Think about it. He struggled with English, he came from a small town, he was flat broke, but he never ever believed in dreaming small. His entire life is proof of this one powerful idea. Your starting point is not your limit.